the big question is, will this stimulus be enough to stimulate the Chinese economy? And at the very core of things, wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. How do we expect people to keep spending in a way to keep the economy going without the proper wages or the proper income to do so? With growth slowing and pressure mounting, China has unveiled a brand new stimulus package aimed at boosting their economy. This is a major move by the People's Republic of China. The Chinese economy has been in need of help, and help is on the way. Now, in this video, we're going to break down the stimulus package by China. We're going to discuss what's involved in it and also what it means for the economy, what it means for the world. So before we get started, let me just say that if you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me. China's new stimulus package is aimed at reviving their economy. Now, the Chinese economy has been faced with weaker growth and also a loss in consumer confidence. Now, this latest measure is focused on boosting domestic consumption, supporting businesses, and stabilizing a struggling real estate market. China is implementing numerous things across the economy that include the reserve requirement ratio, or the cash that banks need to keep on hand, will be cut. The RRR will be cut by 0.5% or 50 basis points, and it's estimated that this is going to free up about 1 trillion yen, and this is in an effort to, provide more lending. This is going to be good for consumers and good for small businesses. There's also talks that China is planning to provide direct capital to banks, possibly up to 1 trillion yen. Now, China's big banks, they've been facing different types of pressures. The struggling real estate market has been a challenge, and now decreasing interest rates pose some different difficulties as well. So these different measures, they're in an effort to, I honestly felt that China's big banks were doing just fine. They were not in a place of need, but this is kind of just to shore them up, top them off, if you will, just to make sure that they're in the right place and that they're doing as good as possible as China kind of shifts through this current economic cycle that they're in. And also for the real estate market, that real estate market has been struggling. China has been facing different difficulties. Well, they are trying to address that as well. China will be cutting interest rates on existing mortgages and lowering the down payment on all type of homes to 15%. And China's real estate market has been in need of help for some time, so this is definitely something that's welcomed for existing homeowners, for people, having their interest rates lower. That is definitely a welcome sign. But also for potential homeowners or people that are looking to get into real estate, having a 15% down payment, lowering that is something that could kind of spur the economy or spur the real estate market. Now, China is also looking to provide liquidity for the stock market as well, looking to boost buybacks and different things. About 800 billion yen, or about 114 billion in US dollars, is going to go towards the stock market to, just kind of pump it, fuse it, if you will. And the investors in the stock market, China stocks, have responded very favorably to this. When this news, their stocks have kind of popped the last couple of days, as is expected. Anytime that you hear a whole bunch of money is just going to be added into the market, share buybacks, people love that kind of stuff. So China is taking different measures here, from their big banks, making sure that they're good and taken care of. Interest rates for banks, but also interest rate for homeowners, the requirements to put down on down payments, and also for the stock. So a well-rounded stimulus package involving a whole lot of different stuff that is what China is going to be doing here. And China is also pledging to spend more money in order to boost the economy. China has a target for a 5% GDP growth, and they understand that government spending is necessary in order to reach that target. Now, just for reference, in the United States, GDP is growing at about 3%, a healthy, solid 3%. But in China, their target is 5%. They understand that they were not on track for 5%, and they are introducing this stimulus now in order to get there. Now, the big question is, will this stimulus be enough to stimulate the Chinese economy? And my honest answer to that is, I think that it will be enough, but only for now. And what I mean by that is, yes, the stimulus is going to do some good economically, but it does not address core issues that China has going on within the country. But I also think those core issues are harder to address than what this stimulus package offers. And what I mean by consumer consumption is a tough thing for China. And just for reference numbers, China's GDP, consumer household consumption, amounts to about 40% of their GDP. That's about 20% lower than the global average, and much lower than the average in the United States, where consumer consumption amounts to a lot of what the GDP is. And culturally, the Chinese people do not view debt the same way that the American culture does. Recently I had somebody in the comments make the good point that culturally, for the Chinese, they do not want to go in the debt. Having large amounts of debt can be viewed as shameful, and people in China, and this is generally speaking, this isn't every single person in the country, but generally speaking, people within the country do not want to go in the debt. They will look to avoid it. And if you're looking to have a whole bunch of economic spending, what you have going on in the United States, you have a whole bunch of people spending credit cards, a lot of times spending outside of their means, but that is what keeps the economy going. In China, from a cultural aspect, they are not into doing that. They do not want to do that, but it does lead to some economic issues, especially on that consumer side. And at the very core of things, wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. How do we expect people to keep spending in a way to keep the economy going without the proper wages or the proper income to do so? And you see here, you got governments stepping in, governments doing things in order to try to boost the economy. And direct stimulus to the consumer is something that's been brought up. It's something that has been called for. As of right now, China has not really mentioned anything about giving money directly to consumers, but there are analysts, researchers, economists that have kind of called for, hey, in a big stimulus package, some have called for trillions of dollars in order to really solve things. Giving money directly to consumers might be something that should be looked at. But as of right now, the government debt is going to go into this. It's gonna prop up the economy for right now, but we do have major systematic issues, especially when it comes to wages and people having to go into debt just to keep the economy moving. And these type of stimuluses and the different things that are being used to address it, I do not think they really get to the core root of what the actual issue is. If you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me.